Hi, good evening, everyone. Myself is Ijaz, and I have total IT experience of 14 years. I worked for Honeywell from the beginning, you can say from 2008 to 2022 till March in Honeywell, only one company. And during that time, even I was playing some Shadow Scrum Master role. And recently, I joined Wells Fargo as a senior Scrum Master. So based on my previous experience as well as into the new Scrum Master, you can say team. So I'm really glad, Narasimha, you have invited me to share my experience because even I have seen that this really helps because I gone through some of the videos of the interview, even into the YouTube. It really helps because that gives you can say real time experience. So I can just share what I did and how I approach during different companies. Just not to say oversay, but I attended almost five company interviews, and I gone through almost all five. There was no, you can say it was very smooth and it was quite well. So there was no rejection.
Yeah.
I was good lucky, or you can say under Narasimha, right? So he has given the training initially. So during December, I did the training, I think 25th and 26th during Christmas time, which was lucky for me as well. So I did the training, and I can seriously say training gives you a brief intro, or you can say it can give you the bird eye how to think of the agile. So that is very much needed. So if we think, okay, we can just go through 2 days and then we don't learn and then we can crack the interview, you may be able to, but training definitely is going to help you because that thing you will be expressing into the interview. Because if you have gone through, definitely you will put some of the point from the trainings. So definitely training is one of the, you can say, starting point which helped me to get the, you can say, whole bird view. And then preparation part, anyways, I will take care maybe after some time. But before that, right, I'll just give one experience of my resume. When I developed my resume, it was not getting shortlisted. So the reason being, I had almost 3 4 pages of resume, and I worked for almost 14 years. So I thought, okay, let's capture most of the things, most of the good things. At least I wanted to showcase what all I did, but that somehow it was not working out. So I discussed with many people, even though I discussed with some of the Naukri person or some of the HR, why it is not getting selected. So what they said, keep your resume as much as 1 or 2 pages. Don't go beyond that. No one is interested. So my first input will be keep your resume maximum to 1 or 2 pages. Don't go beyond it because no one is really bothered. And whoever is selecting the resume, right, they are not in the, you can say, keen to know about everything about you, because whoever is selecting the resume filtering, they are not gonna, they are just trying to see the keywords. So try to have limited pages of the resume. So I went ahead and I created 1 page resume. So that day I selected 1 page resume, right? After 2 days, I started getting the call regularly. So resume filter was one of the big, you can say, bottleneck for me that was resolved. So I contacted with the Naukri, some of the person, why it is not getting filtered. I tried to connect with them. So they gave me these feedback. So then I created one page document for the resume, and I took the help of Word. So MS Word, if you go right, you can try resume, right? It will give you so many templates. You can try, and you can so many resumes already available into the, you can say, Google also. Even I can share in case anyone is really needed. So resume is one of the, you can say, first point was what we have to consider for sure. So this is, you can say, beginning. And then you can highlight all those, you can say, bigger point. What is those point has to be in bold: KPIs, your certification, CSM, Agile, Scrum, Jira, and whatever you think it will be beneficial, because they are doing kind of like they will find out if that keyword is there, it's good. They will just simply put your resume into the shortlisting. So why I'm telling is, when I gave this 4 page resume, right, I asked one Naukri person why it is not getting. They are saying they get the resume, they find, okay, it is there, so they will keep it aside because it is 4 page. They think they will read at the last. Before that, if they get any other resume of 1 page, 2 page, right, they will forward that resume and your resume is still there. It's not that you are rejected for the resume, but it's not into the queue, so it is last. So that was one of the thing which resume definitely has to be, you can say, crisp and clear. With respect to preparation, as I said, the Narasimha sir training, anyways, it was very good starting point. So that gives you a good brief where to start, what actually Agile is, why Scrum, how to do it, all those ceremonies, right? So that is, you can say, that is starting point. So you can say it is a index, or you can say at least it will give you one good brief. Even though if you will not go through detailed, but at least you will be able to answer what actually Agile is, what is Scrum, even though you can clear exam very easily without doing some more research, or with the training anyways I was able to clear the exam as well same day. I got almost 98% in that day, same day after the training. And with respect to preparation, how I did, first I gone through the Scrum guide. I think even Narasimha sir also told, okay, Scrum guide is the, you can say, the base for everything. Your all answer are there into the Scrum guide. If you'll go through the manifesto, right, your all answers with respect to real life or theoretical, right, with respect to Scrum Master role, it is there. You just need to understand how to decompose that, how to use that part into your daily life, or with respect to your Scrum team. Even though if it is an individual contributor, or you can say a working software, right, you will get all the answers there. So Scrum guide, yes, definitely, it's a very small document. We should be able to, you can say, regularly, if we can spend some 10-15 minutes, right, we will be able to easily quote it. Even though when you are answering any questions, right, into the interview, you can actually quote it. This is as per Scrum guide, this is what we have to do. So that time itself they will know, okay, you have gone through the yoga Scrum and you know what is the Scrum guide is. Now we have latest Scrum guide, I think this is 2020. So there is latest Scrum guide also released. And after learning this Agile, frankly speaking, I implemented Agile manifesto, or you can say Agile values also into the my preparation. I did one of the ceremony of a retrospective after each interview. I after interview I capture the questions. I try to answer how I should have been answered, because the time you will give interview, right, many things you will skip it, and you may not be able. You think, okay, I will be answering this way, but the time you are giving interview, right, that won't come out. So once you give the interview, you just try to do retrospective by your own, saying, okay, what I should have been, what I should have been told, or what should have been said, which keyword I should have been put in at the beginning. Because interviewer, right, they wanted to know if you know the particular keyword or something, right. If it is mapped, they may not be you can say listening everything. They know, okay, you know about the retrospective or at least Agile. So those keyword will make big difference. So that has to be, you can say, every interview, right, you write the question, you try to see how we can answer, what best we can answer. You may find it into the Google also. It's answers are also available. So many interview questions are also there. The how you represent in what all keywords you are using during the interview, that will make a big difference. And so that course correction will come from the, you can say, once you give the one interview, right, that time you will know, okay, where I can do the course correction, what and then yes, with respect to preparation, yes, a lot of YouTube videos are already there. We just need to spend time. There is detailed explanation is available into the YouTube as well. If you see, you can say even some interview question is there into the StarAgile website also, and there is some Agile Digest. There is one YouTube video that is also good, that I found it's good, detailed explain with respect to PI planning, or you can say what sprint review is, how to run the daily Scrum. So like that, there are so many playlists also. You can just subscribe to one, don't jump here and there, just try to subscribe one and try to listen it. They have explained it very well. And the good part is not much advertisement in there in between the YouTube video, at least because not everybody is interested into these Agile things, right, only software person. So advertisement also is very less, so we can go through it. And yes, Agile Digest is one of the playlist, and Ramya Sastry also do one ART session, right, that is also very good. So because that gives you real time of experience how people are handling those cases into the real you can say during their Scrum activities and other things. So that I think we can keep attending. That is very good, because I have seen those questions, even I was able to relate it, and I was able to answer based on those situation as well. So you can subscribe some of the playlists, even though when you are traveling somewhere, right, instead of listening to song, maybe half an hour you can give for one of the ceremonies, it will be done. So if you will start stretching one ceremony, right, you're almost half an hour to 45 minutes you can stretch, so your interview is over. So you can plan that way. You can take interviewer in your way, how you wanted to explain. Could be sprint planning or could be your daily scrum, however you wanted to explain. So it's all depends. You can drag your interviewer to your part wherever you are strong. And with respect to interview process, I usually gone through. See, I gave some other companies also. I gone through almost 4 to 5 rounds. Some of the companies, in some companies, I gone through 2 to 3 rounds. First round is all theoretical. If you really know the scrums, what is the agile, what is agile, scrum, Kanban, XP, crystal. If you know the name also, it's quite okay. But if you can explain, it is good part. What is TDD, test driven, then BDD, what is behavioral driven, why you are using scrum, why you are using agile. So it is basically a question. First interview part will be kind of 1 hour. Basic questions with respect to agile, kind of theoretical. If you know the terms and conditions, or how to run this, when to run, when your sprint is getting close, why you are choosing 2 weeks sprint, not 3 weeks sprint, why it is 1 week sprint, when you will do the PI planning. So those part, if you will explain, first round is over. So mostly first round will be theoretical based on the terms or whatever terms you use it into the agile. Scrum, Kanban, user story point, what is Kanban, what is your manifesto, how you do the capacity planning, what is your velocity. I think those things even Narasimha sir also explained you here how to calculate the velocity. We would have captured in some of the screens, right, sir?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
So those also, it is same thing. So if you know those terms, what is scrum values, why we have to use the scrum, why we cannot use a waterfall, if you can explain that, first round is almost over. Second round is almost a situational base, and for situation, right, there is no right or wrong answer. How you convince the interviewer, that is all good. So second round is all subjective. So if you can explain whatever answer you are giving, that is correct, it's all totally fine, because there is no right or wrong answer, I said. So you can say, I can handle this situation like this because it worked for me. It may not work for other person. Maybe in other organization, whatever structure they follow. So second round will be most of the situational, but again, all this type of question you can find into the YouTube, and you can find it into the, you can say, Google also has so many questions. Even if you can type, you will get it. Real-time experience, real-time interview also is there into the YouTube. But once you get the Scrum guide and you get this basic training, right, I think you are good to spend. And yes, with respect to Scrum guide and a video, yeah, that is there. And small articles will be released by even from the scrum.org or Mountain Goat. So you can just spend 5-10 minutes just to read the article. You will get different perspective. If you will put that point into the interview, right, it will be helpful. And there are a lot of community practice also happening, like ART, or there is meetup also happens. So totally say, I can give you my experience. Maybe I'm just overseeing. I started into the January, but by January 21st, I had almost 3 to 4 offer letter. So by January 21st, I resigned from my current organization, and then 2 months service notice period, whatever that organization said. So Narasimha sir, over to you. So I would like to thanks to you because that was good time, and yes, definitely it helps.
Thank you.
So I'm open to any question if anyone wanted to ask or share.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure you said you have done 3-4 rounds. I mean, maybe I didn't understand correctly. So first round was theoretical. Second round was more scenario based. Anything else happened after that in some companies?
So yeah, some company, right, they started doing this bar raiser round, because my experience is almost 14 years. So what they do is, like Amazon does this bar raiser round, right? So they wanted to see how that person is going to be aligned into their business and how is their culture and mind, right? So it will be independent review, or you can say independent interview, that may be higher with respect to engineering manager or director level. They will just try to understand how you know what you can do, how you will fit. So for me, it happens to two of them, because they do this 2 bars around. And in one of the company also, it was almost a 4 round, because the thing is, where my profile was suited, they wanted particular for the particular domain, whatever they are working. Then they find, okay, we can, because Scrum Master, when we say we don't need any technical, but companies, right, you cannot justify that. So that way, just to tell them, okay, to convince them. Yeah, this is one of the good points where you asked me. Some of the company, right, how I convinced them to take my interview. I said, so now I got a call from one of the company. They said, okay, we are looking for a Scrum Master role. I wanted to look for this particular field. I said, good, that you are looking, that's absolutely good, but the Scrum Master is not a technical. Okay, if a Scrum Master is also technical, it is going to create a code, or you can say conflict with respect to PO or Scrum. If you are okay to create that, then that definitely you look for your expertise, or you can say particular domain. Scrum Master doesn't need to be a technical. Then she said, okay, we'll come back. And next day she conducted my interview. So see, again, it depends how you convince the, you can say, person.
Okay, I'm good. So in that so-called bar raiser round, they were more looking at the cultural fit, not about Agile or Scrum, right?
No, not Agile. Based of the culture and how your attitude and other things. Yeah.
All right, sir. So I'm gonna leave it to other people first to ask their questions rather than Nandan. Maybe I can jump in. So Neha, Shrikant, Aruna, anybody else, right? I saw Saurav there. Saurav, you wanna speak up and share your question, sir? Saurav?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Go ahead, Saurav.
Yeah. So my question is, I mean, it seems you are right now in a technical role, or you were in a technical role for 13, 14 years, right? So how did you change your resume so that it's getting picked for a Scrum role, right? A Scrum Master role, because it's a shift, right? At the paradigm shift from being technical to Scrum.
So sort of, yeah, I was technical, you can say. I was in Honeywell. I was doing technical for the C++. Then, but during this year, right, I had the team lead role, project manager role. So once I was doing this project manager role, right, I understood my point, or you can say my interest is not with respect to totally into the, you can say, technical, but slowly I moved. Almost 2017, I started moving towards the manager role. So yeah, work wise just technical, because I was doing some system work also. But it depends how is your interest, how you can handle the people, and how you can handle the, you can say, pressure scenarios and other things.
No,
So I started my journey from 2017 kind
sorry.
of thing.
So I just sorry to interrupt, sir. But my understanding is you actually worked as, and you said in your word, shadow Scrum Master before, right? It's not like completely new.
No, it's not completely new. From 2017 I was out doing kind of, yes.
So Saurav, he was working in a sort of that role, even though the title is not officially given. That sort of helped him in presenting the experience, maybe, Saurav. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
And sort of, as you asked, right, I will just mention one more thing here, right? Many companies are not yet moved to Agile. Okay, so they don't give this title. So now if you see, companies are still started moving, though your roles and responsibility may be Scrum Master, or you can say product owner, right? Still your title will be different. So that way, right, they cannot justify if you don't have experience. Even though, right, someone says, right, fake it until you make it. So it's you can convince the interviewer, and if you are good with these skills, right, I really don't think so.
I have one question here. Good evening, everyone, and good to see you all. Narasimha sir, especially after CSM class. Okay, so I have one question. Like, when you join as a Scrum Master in a so is there anything apart from that responsibility is given to you? I mean, right now when I'm getting a call, yes, right, you rightly said, getting a call as project manager or Scrum Master.
Yes,
like that, or senior manager or agile coach, something like that. So is there different responsibilities you are doing, or they are just aligned to what you are given to?
See, Prabha, what I can say, right, your KPI will be your with respect to Scrum, you can say whatever you have to perform, but yes, actual work may differ. You may get different responsibilities also, not just running these 5 ceremonies. It may involve different, you can say, you have to, some places you have to handle the technicality also. Some places you have to talk to other person who are not there as a part of your whole Agile. So it varies organization to organization, but apart from Scrum, yeah, there are a lot. Not for this.
And one more query, like you just mentioned about resume building, if it is a one page. Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. So I just want to add something more to your question before you ask the next question. So I just want to share to your question on when somebody selected as a Scrum Master. It happened, is happening with a guy who attended our training. He's also my friend before. So I know, I meet him almost every other day. So I know what's going on. So what they're doing in this company, right? This guy is a Scrum Master for one team. Okay. And in that role, he's basically a Scrum Master helping people do whatever, right? We talked about all that. But along with that, he will also have some other people reporting into him. So they're not working in this current project, they are basically working for some other projects, but he has some people manager responsibilities for the other set of people. So for other set of people, he's more of, you know, are you okay? Are you pissed off enough to quit the company? What else we can do to retain you? Things like that. So in this project, is just a Scrum Master, but he has got additional responsibility outside of it for some other people in the. So that way they are trying to make sure that no hierarchies in the current company, or just a Scrum Master. But this guy is also taking care of some org level responsibilities
Correct.
related to some other people. I've seen that happening.
Okay, thank you. One more query is, just now you mentioned about one page resume. If someone is having experience like 13, 14 plus years of experience, so this is just, I was thinking, based on the position, do we need to update? Like if it is agile coach, we should update, or if it is a safe, then again we need to update.
See, Prabha, even my experience is 14 years. See, now what happened, I said, what you can do, right? You just try to mention last 2 projects if you really wanted to mention. Otherwise, right, with respect to, you can say your safe, agile coach, Jira, right? You can just give one of the kind of responsibility, or you can say my expertise. You highlight all those things. That is more than enough. You don't need to, because no one knows about your project and no one wanted to know about the project.
Correct. I have just mentioned, but still my this thing is 3 pages. It has become 3 pages.
my resume was 4 pages.
So I'm just
Prabha,
wondering.
maybe
Yes.
you can see, I don't know, Ajaz, if you are willing to share your resume as a sample, you know, please consider doing
Yeah, I can
and
share.
we can also get a couple of resumes. In fact, you know, I don't know whether you interacted with them. Have you interacted with Amruta, Prabha, anytime?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
So maybe I'll get some. Amruta is internal HR in StarAgile, and she kind of helps people in getting the job, whatever, right? Interviews and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. We just started that.
Okay.
So maybe I'll let her share some resumes and see. They're not perfect, but at least give you some idea on how.
See, because I got a call, maybe my interview schedule is in next week, but it is, they say Agile Coach Scrum Master. So I asked them specially whether it is for a Scrum Master position or it is for a Agile Coach position. So they replied me, we will evaluate and then we'll think which position we need to offer.
Correct.
So I was really, then I thought, though I have given, they have selected my CV, but then I need to speak on that only, you know, what I have written. So
see, Prabha, maybe I can give some input on this Agile coach or as well as Scrum Master, right? If you have good experience into the Scrum Master, you can directly move to Agile coach. So now if they will try to evaluate if you have that experience or your understanding is big, right? They may take you as Agile coach, or if they think, okay, you still need some grooming or something, right? Still they can say for, okay, you try for Scrum Master for a few years, then you can move to Agile coach. So I think both roles, understanding is same with respect to both. Yes, how you handle that varies with the Scrum team as well as for Agile coach.
Agile coach is perceived as more a senior coach. But Prabha, just my 2 cents, Prabha, just to add to that. A lot of times the guy you are talking to, right? If he's a more of a staffing person, he has no clue. Okay, what is the difference?
Correct.
So asking him, like, tell me what is Agile coach or Scrum Master, he'll be like, "Abba, pata nahi, interview attend kar lo." Okay.
Correct.
So I think, and if the person you are talking to is the hiring manager, they are the ones doing the work. Sure, you can ask that question. So if I were you, I would say yes to that first. Attend the first interview.
No, I said yes. I didn't say nothing, but I asked which position. I mean, because it was titled like Agile Coach and Scrum Master. So I was like little this thing.
See, the thing is right now, these openings are widely open. Agile Coach, Scrum, right? So they wanted to see to whom they can fit where. They have multiple teams opening. So
companies,
you try to approach for Agile Coach, otherwise Scrum Master is already there.
Yes, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
Saurav, you answer your question yourself. You're okay with whatever we discussed? We didn't confirm. Saurav?
Yeah, I'm fine. Okay. I'm just thinking that right, how to I would say curate the resume that from a technical role, right? Because let's say the Scrum role or Agile role that's being played for last 2 to 3 years, right? And but for the last 8 to 9 years or more, it's a technical role. So how to put that in resume so that right, I would say the shift in the role, right, in the interview. it's taken. So
I think, I think all of us moved that way, right? All of us played a technical role and moved. Okay. So I think I'm sure you have your own story of how that move happened. Like you basically worked in a Scrum team as a developer, who knows, right? Or maybe you didn't, even know that is called as Scrum until you attended the training. See, there are people who say, look, we did this 3 years, but I didn't know what the hell it was called. We used some random terms, but later on you connected the dots and said, that is exactly what we did, or Upar said that is what you did. And you can definitely showcase, we did that, not so well, but this is how we started off, and eventually we got better. I mean, if you got better, things like that, right? So how do you really connect that and create your own story? Story, matlab, I'm not saying jhoot mat bolo, but create the story in a way
How
that
you relate it.
Relate to it, right?
Got it. Yeah, makes sense.
So I have a question. So how to cross this notice period barrier? I am struggling for that a lot. Because whenever I got a call from HR, and if I genuinely say that I have 3 months of notice period,
I agree with you. Yeah.
that person will just hang up.
Yeah.
And he will say that we will schedule, but I won't get any invite.
Unfortunately.
I'm struggling for that.
See, Srikanth, I may not be able to clearly answer this question, but what happens, right? If you have bigger companies, right? Like organization is big. So then you may be able to get, yes, this notice period varies a big chunk. Because of that, what happens, right? Reality, I will tell you what is happening. So whenever you have notice period of 60 days or 90 days, right? Whatever interview you get clear first time, 60 to 70% chance you won't join that company. And they also know that. So that is another thing. So if organization is big, right? If they have limes, or you can say site for 4 to 5 years, right? They are okay to consider 3 months or 5 months, right? Because I have seen people with they got extension for 3 months, right? They took 2 months extension again, because onboarding itself is a very big challenge. And after completing 2 months also, 3+2, he's saying I'm not joining. So that is also real-time challenge. So that challenge will be always there, Srikanth. But yes, you can try approaching reference. If you will start referring, right, instead of applying directly into the Naukri or whatever, right? If you will get a reference, it will be faster, or they will know, okay, that person may come. So you can understand their point also.
No, but yes. Srikanth's problem is that his company's notice period is 3 months. So that's why the other company don't want to even interview this guy.
Correct. Yeah, that is even I have faced. Even my was 60 days. But yes, that is problem with across everywhere. Because that is what I said, right? You give interview for first, right? You get the offer letter. Usually people start bargaining.
Here you can say, even I said that, because even I have 2 months notice period, but then you can say ki, yes, it is 2 months notice period, but it may be negotiable, at least to get a call. Okay, if you say that, I think you get a call.
So there are 2 ways also, as Prabha said, right? Yeah. So as Prabha said, right, Srikanth, what you can do, right? What I used whenever they say, right, I cannot wait for 2 months. So 2 months, or you can say 20 days. So what you can do, I'm transitioning to other project. So if you will speed up your process, I may able to come to your company and I can negotiate my notice period. But the time I will move it to new project, right? It will be officially, it will be a 90 days. So if you will speed up, definitely I will come soon. So it's all how you you tackle. Yeah. So.
And there's an option to buy out as well. I mean, if your company allows it, Srikanth, they also communicate buy out, but your company doesn't allow.
Other companies not waiting.
So what I'm doing is I'm keeping 1 month in Naukri and all, just to get a call. At least I could get an experience to give an interview. So I gave 2-3 interviews, but when the brand is coming, so genuinely I'm telling that it's 3 months. If you want to schedule, because if I got into that Cogni or TCS, then we can't bluff it, right? It's not.
You can say you can say officially it is 90 days, but yeah, I can negotiate and can join in 30 days or 40 days.
Okay.
But yes,
you can say I will try to negotiate. I will try and speak to my manager. Even then they listen. I mean, little bit.
But yeah, usually they won't consider. They will say I will schedule the interview, and then you won't get any invite.
It happens. Yeah, true.
That happened yesterday only.
Yeah. So Srikanth, keep trying. You will get it. Don't worry.
And one more question, Aziz. So I just want to understand. I got a question in one of the interview that how the billing is happening in your team.
See, in this way, right? That is not a Scrum Master role. So you can be sideline saying, okay, see this billing part. See, Agile is actually a costly. Okay, if you consider with respect to waterfall and Agile is costly. And billing part we have separate team. My part is just to facilitate, to make sure team is moving towards it. Billing, you can say I have some idea saying like this billing with respect to charge code and how much hours they will charge. It depends on country to country also. US may charge 1 hour $30 or UK may charge something else. You can sideline say, okay, billing I may not be knowing it. I will just do this capacity planning based on effort. Scrum Master role is with respect to P role, or you can say project engineer, right, to do this billing and all. Okay. So they just wanted to do some, you can say something they just wanted to ask. So that is not a Scrum related interview.
Just to add a couple of things. One, Ajay, just to clarify, there is no guarantee that Agile is always going to be more costly. Okay, we cannot guarantee that, right? It depends upon multiple factors of the project, but you cannot guarantee whether it's going to cost you more or less. But Shrikant, usually I'll also, when somebody talks about billing, right? What I said, the contracts in Agile are need not be any different from your any other project contract. So it depends upon how you contract, right? Let's say you are contracting with the client on time and money. You say, look, we're going to pay you for five people, and we're going to get you billed every month. If that is how your contract is signed, you can do the same thing for an Agile project. But there are projects in Agile where it is all outcome based. So they're like, so look, I'm going to pay you when you achieve this. Okay, if you deliver me this much of value, I'll pay you this much. Are you okay with that? And the vendor is okay. And accordingly they sign the contract. They get the POs raised accordingly. Okay. So pretty much both time and material and so-called fixed costs can also be done in Agile. Okay. Right. So it need not be any different from any other project you do. It depends on how you sign the contract. So you can do both of them. Okay. Yeah. And
one more thing is, to how extent we need to explain Azure DevOps CI/CD, because I've been getting that question, that how you're implementing that in your project, Azure DevOps, and how CI/CD pipeline is getting there. That questions I'm getting. Yeah.
So Shrikant, yes, so that whatever you say, right, the CI/CD they say, right, with respect to DevOps or Azure, right, that is actually part of your integration when you do. So again, it's again how you wanted to handle it and how you wanted to explain. You see, in my case, right, in whatever organization I had, this DevOps team was separate. So what we do, right, once we have done those updates, right, will not put it into the, we'll just check in. We use this Jenkins, or there are some other tools also, right? We just put our code and DevOps team will be taking care. So now with respect to CI and CD, right, continuous improvement, you can say there is separate team. That is what in my case, maybe Scrum Master, if they have this DevOps experience, that may be you can say advantage, but that may not be related to directly with the Scrum. Like whatever is Scrum Master, if you say, right, if I will be knowing it as a Scrum Master, if I know CI CD also and other things also, I can directly move it to there, right? Why I should be doing this technical role? So putting your content into the DevOps, getting the build, and again put it into the production, all those things, right? Scrum Master activity will come one, or you can say kind of ending when sprint review retrospective is done. He will plan for next sprint. So when I'm going to give demo, or you can say sprint review, I can show whatever we have planned to deliver it. It could be just production, which is again depends on the DevOps. So here what I said is a similar question even I was asked. So I said I have separate DevOps team. They have separate Scrum Master. When we do Scrum of a Scrum, I will talk to them. I will say my build will be coming and make sure it is ready into the production, so that while demo we should be able to get it. So this is just kind of, this is what I said. Maybe if Scrum Master knows those roles, it definitely is going to help. But I don't think that is a stopping for a Scrum Master, Shrikant.
Okay. I can add, Shrikant. So I don't expect Scrum Master to know how to go and build the CI pipeline. Okay? But as a Scrum Master, you should be able to help your team understand the value of so-called CI/CD. So any Scrum team, for it to be able to become more efficient, to be able to deliver more value, they should have some sort of automation in place. If they do everything manually, they would struggle with the expectation of delivering value. So as a Scrum Master, I would probably educate and help our developers look at what are the different things like CI/CD that they can consider adopting in their projects in order to really go to the next level. And if they're interested to do that, I will probably get some experts from the DevOps team who will actually help them to do it. And if you know the names like Jenkins, you can throw those words. Like we use Jenkins, but I don't know how to configure it. We have a separate DevOps team to do it. But my job was to help the developers understand the value of having a CI in place so that they get faster feedback whenever they create a mistake. So that gave them the freedom to be able to do their coding easily, because they know with the flip of a button, they get the feedback immediately. They don't have to really wait for end of the sprint to realize, how much of a screw up, whatever he's doing is causing. So having CI/CDs in place will give developers opportunity to get faster feedback, and that help them to be able to deliver, with more confidence, more value. So that is how I put it as Scrum. So your job is to help people see the value of it and get the experts from other teams, help these guys configure and use those tools. I don't expect Scrum Master to know about Jenkins.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay. If anyone is not asking, I have one more question. Shall I?
Yeah, looks like so. Everybody else is on mood. Go ahead.
So when do you decide Kanban versus when do you decide on Scrum? This was one question they have asked.
So Ajay, you wanna take it Ajay first, and I'll give my 2 cents after that. Anybody else? Right? Go ahead. It's like a mock interview for you also, right?
Yeah, even I can answer.
Yeah,
so whatever I know. Yeah, definitely. See, when Kanban is actually, you can say pull way, right? So we say it is a pull system. So in Scrum, what happens, right? In Scrum, you can run multiple stories. One person can run multiple stories, and they can actually.
I think he lost power.
Yeah. Can you hear him? Okay.
No. I think he lost power.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna come back, hopefully. But in the meantime, I'll answer the way I'm gonna answer. To others, you have anybody else who would like to take that? Ajaj is back.
I can give an example which
Yes,
I
Prashant.
noticed.
And then Ajaj, go ahead, Prashant.
Yeah. So Prabha, actually, for one of my part, we are following Scrum. It's a kind of production maintenance pod. So typically, for the sake, we are following SAFe, we are following PI, we are following Scrum. But at end of the day, while running the sprints, what we are observing is like every time lot of new PMEs are coming into the plate, everything is P1, P2. We cannot go ahead with the fixed scope. We cannot go ahead with the fixed timelines. Team will jump into another thing to look into the priority to understand whether they can fix it or not. So there will be a lot of deviations, lot of work in progress items will be there. So it's like even though we are following Scrum, the way of the work, the way we need to prioritize the things, the deviation we get for that project, that really may not fit into the Scrum rules or regulations and the time boxes we have. At that time, just for the sake following Scrum won't help that team. We can go ahead and migrate to Kanban so that it's like they can utilize the benefits of the Kanban, and they can pull in any item and they can finish it off, which can complete fast and which can reduce the work in progress.
Yes, yes, correct.
So, Prabha,
yes,
let me add, Prabha. I'll give my 2 cents, and then
yes.
So I'll answer this question this way, okay? So any project where you think you can plan for a reasonable amount of time, could be 1 week or whatever, right? And stick to that plan without a need for changes in the middle of it for most of the time, you can go with Scrum. But if you say, look, forget about 1 week, we can't even plan for 1 day, man. I can't tell you what will we work on after lunch, because every time we get a new production issue, we have to jump to it immediately. Forget about 1 week. I can't even tell you what I'll be working on post lunch today. For such projects, it is difficult to use Scrum. Okay, there it is better to go for Kanban, because where you are more going by the WIP limits, and you work on by limiting the work a particular team is doing. So wherever you have an opportunity to kind of plan, stick to that for a reasonable amount of time, you can use Scrum. You think, nope, I can't plan for even 1 day. Sorry, I can't tell you what we can work on for next 1 day. Use Kanban. And for that reason, generally, you can also add for that reason, usually people use Kanban for support projects, because in support projects, there could be projects where there is no predictability. They get a bug and they have to jump to it immediately. And in such scenarios, they end up using Kanban. For a lot of development projects, since they will be able to plan for a particular period of time and stick to that, people end up using Scrum. Even though there is no such rule, if there is a production project where you can plan for 1 week, you can actually use Scrum for that project also. For example, I use Scrum in some of the support projects, because in that project, I would say about 5% of the issues used to be like priority 1. maybe 5%, right? Hardly like once in like 2 weeks, we get a severity 1 bug that require everyone to jump to it immediately. So while planning, developers used to have a placeholder saying we need so much of time to address production issues whenever we get immediately. Take out that as 30 hours, 40 hours as a placeholder. And they consider the remaining time while planning for the sprint. And in the product backlog, we have the remaining bugs, enhancements in the product backlog. In the prioritized order, product owner is there. We do planning, developers do daily scrum, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Sabha,
Thank you.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Ajay,
much.
you want to add something, sir?
Yeah, sorry, I had some network cut.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I think it's already explained, but yes, a few things I can just add, saying with respect to difference, right? Kanban, as I said, it is a pull system. So once one work is over, you just take it. So one work at a time, work in progress. In Scrum, we can run multiple work, or you can say work on multiple user stories in that way. And other thing is, Kanban we usually use for data visualization. So if you go higher to the Scrum, right, portfolio level, or you can say full safe, right, usually those product management, all right, they will use a Kanban just to see the progress. So the data visualization is good part into the Kanban. So now live example you can say into the Pizza Hut also, right? Pizza Hut or in anywhere, right? Or even that comes from the Toyota. So you can see the progress, how it is happening, how it is moving from one end to other end. One work is over, it handed over to other one, you just pull it other work. So how I answered it is mostly of the data visualization, which is used into the portfolio or you can say full safe. And other interview related question, I think if you do this Googling, right, you may be able to directly difference between those.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So just another thing to add on that, visualizing will not make things Kanban, okay? Just to add. And I know that's quite common, what I just said, right? People just put things on a board saying to do, doing and done and say that's a Kanban board. That is not a Kanban board, okay? Unless you add a few more things to it. Unless you add at least WIP limit to it, it is not Kanban.
Yeah.
Yes.
WIP, yes.
So Kanban, I mean, has got, and basically one principle is visualize the work, like he's saying. But after that, you have to limit the WIP limit. So idea is, Prabha, just in 2 minutes of Kanban. Which city you stay in, ma'am?
I'm in Pune.
Okay, any city, right?
Yeah.
Morning, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, in a Hinjawade, Karade area, when everybody is trying to go to office, what is happening? Like we have too many cars trying to move in the same road we have got.
Yes.
So the demand is more than the capacity you have got. So when you try to do more work or try to move more cars than the what capacity is possible or allowed, every car slows down.
Yes.
So instead, what Kanban says is, trying to do too many things will only slow down everything. So say better hoga, you understand your capacity and you think that my road will only allow 5 cars to go at any point of time. To tell the, business, we can only work on, we can only allow 5 cars to go at any point of time. Until these 5 cars go or one of them goes, the next car cannot come in. And you let the first 5 cars go as fast as possible. And when one of these car goes to the next lane or whatever, the next car can come. So you are basically limiting the demand to the capacity you have got.
Yes.
The team is going to say to the business, now in projects, okay, as a team, we have got 3 developers. So at any point of time, we can only be working on like 3 features or whatever, like 3 stories. So now we're telling the business, look, you prioritize your things, but at any point of time, we'll only be working on 3 features. Unless one of this is done, the next feature cannot be taken up. That is why it's a pull-based system. If you hit that limit, things cannot be pushed again, right? They have to wait for the vacancy. When the vacancy comes up, then people will pull the next ticket into their category. You're trying to limit the demand to the capacity so that the system can work as fast as possible. It's like 5 cars going on the road, every car can go fast, then 50 cars trying to go and every car slowing down.
So in that, any timeline works, Naseema sir?
Timeline matlab, Shrikant?
Like suppose now we are taking 5 stories in Kanban. So what is the estimate for that? Like when we'll be finishing, it will be there?
The estimate for the feature is going to be given by the team, like you give for any project, Kanban or Scrum or jo bhi ho. So estimate is going to be given by the team based on how much work they're supposed to do. Now whatever time, effort that they think, uske hisab se they will say itna time lagta hai.
Okay.
So usually no multitasking.
Yeah. And multitasking is going to make it less effective, whichever way you work. So it's better to avoid that. So did we confuse you enough, or you have an answer for your question?
I know what to take it from
What to
whatever
say.
you people, what
Right,
to say.
yeah.
And thank you.
Okay.
I have one question actually. These days I also seeing some openings saying Scrum Master Project Management. So I just was trying to understand where we should focus, like whether we can fit into those roles or how different it will be from the Scrum Master activities when we join into it, because they're not actually defining the roles very clearly in their JDs. So any idea like whether we will be able to fit with the project management activities also?
I'll give my 2 cents and then others can add in. Ma'am,
Okay.
there are 2 reasons for it, Aruna. One, they have no clue what they're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. 2, they're talking about you trying to do multiple things, which I think, I don't know whether you were there. I was talking about a friend of mine doing that in that company. What they're typically doing with Scrum Masters, in a particular Scrum team or only Scrum Master. Okay. You are taking care of your Scrum row, whatever Scrum Master responsibilities, but you're also being assigned some other people in the company who are reporting to you, and that's where you have your typical manager responsibilities.
I also have a friend who has been taken as a Scrum Master, and he has been given as a technical role also.
Okay.
So I mean,
Those
this
conflicts.
is happening. This is happening. I mean, in the organization.
Yeah, it is
Once you are
happening.
in, then they are. I mean, only thing is, I think if we can find it out with among friends or something, really what happening in the company.
Right.
Like if you want to choose, I think that's the only way we can go about it.
Yeah, even some companies, right, they have product owner, Scrum Master same. If they have smaller company and if it's smaller team, right, product owner is also same person, Scrum Master is also same person, even though sometimes he does testing also. So yeah, so that
This is happening with me right now.
okay. Okay.
But, I mean, and jokes about the way I answer. I know as a trainer, I talk differently because I want to make sure you understand what it should be. But usually, ma'am, if you really want to bring a change in the system, you got to be in the system, right? So if I were you, I'm going to say, look, take the offer. I mean, get in.
Yes.
You consider a lot of other factors, of course, when you join the company. But when you get in, you have an opportunity to at least help the company, help your people to realize how you can do this better. See, it's not about, okay, Scrum Master should not do technical work, right? If you say that, koi bhi will say, "Arey, kyun nahi kar sakte?" Instead, I think we need to help that person in the decision-making authority understand why your investment on this role is not going to give you the ROI if you make this guy do such things.
Okay.
And now the day it's about how do you connect on your company is investing on this role, on this person, and you would like to maximize the outcome. And there are better ways of getting that outcome than trying to make this guy do testing. I think if you help help decision makers understand that in terms of what is really the outcome or ROI, if you work differently, they'll at least listen. Then saying, क्यों नहीं कर सकते? Because Scrum बोल रहा है कि नहीं कर सकते. यार नरसिम्हा ने बोला था class में नहीं कर सकते. Who cares about Narasimha, man?
See, actually, people think Scrum Master means he's like not of use. What he is doing, he's just doing daily activities and ceremonies, just like that. They think in that way. I mean, Indian mostly. I should not generalize, but I have seen that. That's
No,
okay.
that's not India, Prabha. It's not
That's
India.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's lack of understanding. I won't say India. I'll tell you what I have seen. Right, India, Bangalore, in one building, they're doing things really like they should be like Scrum Master, kuch aur kaam nahi karta. Next building, things are completely different. So it depends upon the company culture, their understanding.
The culture and what you're.
So
but I think slowly change will come and things will be improved definitely.
And that's how I would like you guys to think, right? When you get into that in the system, everyone has an opportunity to influence that.
Correct.
So at least I don't look at it as you're not there to do some meetings here. Meetings koi bhi kar sakta hai, right? But you really want people to look at things differently, and that's where how good you are with helping people see from their point of view and connect the dots makes sense. That you can't go to a decision maker and say daily Scrum 15 minute में खत्म होना चाहिए. Like 20 minute करने तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है उसको? right? I mean, he wants to hear different things, right? I mean, why to use Scrum? Kya mil raha hai? Why should I even invest on ready this training and coaching and all that? Kya milega usse? Can we really measure the value of investing on such things? If you help decision makers see the value of it, then they will probably help you or willing to make the decision. For example, rather than saying Scrum Master ko testing nahi karna chahiye, maybe if you say, look, let's experiment. Let's take 2 projects and work in different fashions and see which one is getting you desired results. And then and you should have some metric to measure, right? Problem with a lot of these things, difficult to measure. I've seen companies 1 year into so-called agile transformation, they have no clue whether jo bhi paisa dala isme usse kuch result aaya ki nahi. So you got to agree on a metric, right? If maybe you agree with your boss that, hey, let's agree on a metric, right? Why are you doing all these things? Scrum, okay. If you have a reason, let's agree on a metric. The biggest problem is client is not happy with such things. Let's take the metric. Work in this fashion in one project. Work in some other fashion in some other project. We don't go by theoretical stuff, and we'll see which one is getting better results. Whatever give better results, we'll go with that. If Scrum Master doing all the testing is giving better results, we'll go with that. Man, who cares about what Scrum is saying? I think if you try to really help people see in terms of outcome of what different things are giving, I think we'll get decision makers listen to us. Then saying Scrum kya bol raha hai, Scrum guide kya bol raha hai.
Yeah, that is what Agile is. Whatever works, right? You just try to implement and move on.
Yeah. And unfortunately, उसी के नाम से people misuse भी करता है. कुछ भी करके बोलता है कि अपना Agile है.
हो गया.
Okay. Aruna, you are okay with whatever you asked, ma'am? Kind of.
Yeah, I'm okay for that. Yeah, because I see many companies are trying to merge roles and then trying to.
Aruna, that could be because of lack of understanding, right? See, a lot of people equate Scrum Master literally to the product manager role.
Okay.
Right? They may not even know how they are different, right? So they just want someone who will help them to do projects in Agile. And most likely, when they say that, they want people to introduce Scrum, and they are looking at this guy to help them introduce Scrum. So they're just calling project manager / Scrum Master. Or like I said, there are companies who have clarity. I mean, this guy is Scrum Master in this team, but we want you to also be taking some people responsibilities or manager responsibilities for some other people in the company.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
Team motivation and ensuring team follow practices. Okay, these are the 2 things. As a Scrum Master, what approach do you take? Well, I mean, the new team, they have been assigned you the new team.
Yeah.
And then 2 options. I mean, this question has been asked to me. Team motivation, ensuring team follow practices.
Okay, good point. Yeah.
So which approach you will take as a Scrum Master?
Correct. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm sure this one. So others, you want to take a shot first?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Narasimha, I can answer because I had this. I remember someone has asked me this question. So here, what happens, right? Scrum Master, whenever I get new team, or if I'm overtaking some, you can say Scrum Master, right? So Scrum Master first role is to be an observer, just to observe your team to see what is their aspiration. So some people may need money, some people may need attention, some people may need good work. So that you have to first identify, and how to motivate what is inspiring them to be you can say be a part of the team. Listen to them. Their feedback has to be valued. And inputs considered for what it. So regular one-on-one, appreciating them into the, you can say, review meetings. And so those individual connect you have to do. So first what you have to do, you have to see what is their aspiration is. So suppose if my aspiration is to be a next role, so I may not be much bothered about consider money, or I may not be bothered much about the, you can say, technicality. Person wanted to in development, they wanted to do technical work. They don't know meetings. You have to understand what actually they need. So what actually motivate them to do the work. Once you understand that, definitely you will know what they need, and then you can drive the way you want it. So that was one of my answer what I gave.
Yeah, and I would say that's not even a Scrum question, man. General people question.
That is the general situation.
People question, right? Motivation is like so subjective, right? And yeah, you kind of touched on how it has to be different for different people. And Prabha, I'm going to add to making sure they follow the rules, or how do you ensure that they're following the rules, right? I learned with some experience.
Sorry to interrupt, but the question was whether team motivation or you will ensure your team is following, what approach you will take. So again, this is
one
like
of these two.
One of these two. That was the question. And what Ajaj sir said just now, that was one thing. What they said, you have been assigned as a Scrum Master for the new role, okay? And we within 5 days or within a week, you want to present something to a stakeholder.
Yeah.
By observing.
Yeah.
Or I cannot say, okay, I will observe for 15 days, then I will come up with something. Correct. So basically, they were asking, what tools do you have so that you need to present something within a week to stakeholders? Okay, this is how will be my plan will be, or this is how I want to approach, or I want to go for it.
Huh? All right, in 5 days. Okay, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
5 days, you observe what you observe and try to present your plan on what do you think we should do.
So I said, I said that I will observe them. I will be a part of their team meetings, and I will be an observer at that time. Try to understand things, and then I'm not sure whether I was correct or not. But then I said I will take assessment also. Maybe I can give some assessment to all the people to fill in, so that I come to know where they stand as a agile. I mean, where are they?
Okay.
Following agile thing.
Okay.
So with respect to this, right, I can answer this one, right? I learned from the ART session where I think Ramya ma'am was telling, right? So first, what you have to do, you have to see, answer is again lies into the Scrum guide. So you have to see your team is following which Scrum values. We have read is openness, courage, and some 3, 4, 5, right? So if you can just assess your team in that way, right? You okay, your team is really following Scrum or not, so that you can do as an assessment. You can take point against those all 5 values. So that is one of the thing what I can suggest if you wanted to evaluate your team with respect to Scrum. If they are really following it, they are courageous to, or they are open, and if they are really telling it what is happening, there is transparency is there. So yeah, if you can assess against Scrum values, yeah, then we can say that team is following Scrum.
Yeah. So Prabha, I'm going to add my 2 cents. I don't know whether I understood your question correctly. I thought they basically told you between team motivation and following the Scrum.
Yes.
Ceremonies,
Yes.
which one you prefer, which one you focus on.
Yeah, which you will, which approach you will take.
I would probably go with the team motivation, because following something for sake of following without really understanding or using it in the right way is not gonna give any results. It's as good as useless. If somebody says we have done daily Scrum, but they're just doing it for sake of doing because somebody is there with the stick behind, is not going to help. So I would definitely focus on whether team is really connected, motivated, then trying to say, did you follow one particular meeting or not? But once they are really connected, then we're going to look at how really Scrum helps and see whether they are willing to do that. And I usually, my experience, if you go in as Scrum Master, as a coach, and go to people and developers and say, you must do daily Scrum in this fashion because I think so, because Scrum guide said so. It usually backfires. My experience, developers will stop talking to you. Okay, developers, what people think about process, right? Generally, most of them. What do you think developers think about process, Prabha, generally?
Time waste.
Time waste.
Yeah, sab bakwas hai, okay, some time waste, right? So if you just go and tell them process hai karna chahiye, usually that's the response, whether they tell you openly or they talk behind the scenes.
Yes, true.
That's why, with some experience I learned, if you're taking up a new role, like you said, in the middle of the project, I first talk to my sponsor and find out, why are you hiring me? What's your objective? Okay, what are you trying to really get out of this role? Okay, let's agree with you. What is the metric you're going to use to measure, blah, blah, blah. And then I go to the developers, and first of all, I want to make it clear to them that I will make sure nobody can force you to work on any process that is not good for you, including me. I'm not going to come ever and tell you that follow this process because it is so and so. We're going to follow process that you believe is going to be valuable for the project. So one thing that is non-negotiable is stakeholder said, here are the 3 parameters. Or the customer who is paying us money is saying these are 3 concerns. If you think Scrum is useless, throw Scrum out. You have any better ideas of delivering on these 3 metrics, please let me know. I will fight with the management and make sure that they'll allow you to do this. So I realized when you give developers the opportunity to pick the process they believe is going to help, they do things that they believe is valuable. And whenever you don't force them is when they're usually more open to adopt. So the moment you open up and say you pick and choose what is going to work for you, I've seen they're more open to try out things than forcing people to work on.
True.
So and that will make sure they're more motivated to kind of do work than trying to do something that others believe is right for them.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question. It may not be much related to the interview thing.
Yeah,
but
one second, Aruna, sorry, Aruna, 1 second, guys. It's already 6, but we can take this question. I know it's 5 to 6, but I just want to remind you on the time. Go ahead, Aruna.
Yeah. Actually, to what extent of experience people might go for Scrum Master roles? Because I have a bit higher experience and I'm not sure whether I really fit in the bracket of the Scrum Master category, or do I need to look for another opportunities? What a thought process I have.
May I know your experience or not? I mean, if you're
it is around 20 plus years.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it too high? Because I don't see really much openings for the Scrum Master beyond 12, 13 years when I look for in the LinkedIn or in Naukri or in other job portals. So that's one thing I was little doubting whether can I really fit there with my number of years of experience.
You can go as a change agent, ma'am.
Okay.
Agile coach or things like that. Yeah?
Agile coach, change agent, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that might help me to think over and then prepare myself towards that direction. Thank you.
So Aruna, generally, see, so when you are hiring someone with 20 years of experience, they're trying to, maybe take you at a senior level, right, Aruna?
Yeah.
So that's why they are not expecting you to be at a team level.
Correct.
Right? They want you to be at maybe a business unit level. So where there are like more than multiple teams and you are maybe mentoring Scrum Masters and helping them get the work done. So yeah, that's the usual. I agree with you that 20 plus, you don't see quite common people saying we need Scrum Masters with 20 years of experience.
Yeah, because I'm trying to change my technical architecture towards slowly to be moving towards management is what I was interested for. But this is becoming a challenging. My experience is really making me a challenging thing to move towards it.
So you need to look at a role which is not just at a team level, right? More at a org level, a business unit level.
So I can add one input, Aruna. In my previous company, right, there were a person who was, I think, 23 years of experience. Yeah, as Nasimas has also said, right, you can take business unit. So he was actually RTE. So you can go with the RTE role, or you can take, for suppose, lead Scrum Master role and other things also. So people are there with this experience, but yeah, normal team level Scrum Master, it may be a difficult, and it may not be a motivated role for you as well. So you can go with a little higher with respect to RTE, or you can go with the, if you are really technical, you can go with the solution architect level, which is actually a portfolio level. So those things you can try. Scrum level is very limited, means 7-8 people or 10 people kind of things. So RTE role is one of the things I can suggest. Aruna,
RTE is part of SAFE, ma'am. Okay, just to add to it, RTE is part of scaling framework called SAFE.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, if you want to explore more, we can talk about it. But yeah, so these are more at a, so there are one project with like 200 people working, blah, blah, blah. And they have this RTE coordinating multiple teams. So that's why it's not a team level though. So, okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys, it's cross 6. So, I mean, I know somebody already messaged saying that I need to attend something else. I need to go. So anything else that you would like to quickly share before we wind up?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Amrita will be able to help us with the resume, right?
Yeah, Aruna. So I will request her to share some sample resumes, right? And you can. I mean, I won't say they're perfect, right? But at least some samples to help you relate. And Ajay said he can share his resume. Thanks for that. And we're not experts, but at least there are a few points which definitely can help, right? I mean, don't write a 10-page resume. Nobody's going to look at it. Try to limit that and try to highlight things that is gonna help fit the search criteria that staffing people are using. End of the day, that's what they're doing, right? I mean, if you don't have the keywords, your resume will not even get. They won't even open it.
Because they have automated system to just filter
Yeah,
out the resume
exactly.
immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And one small info I need. I have done leading safe agile from your team itself. So that is what I can refresh for the RTA, or is there any other suggestible?
There is another training only for RTA, but at least the leading safe should have given you basic understanding of what is safe and what's your role there. But the separate training is only on RTA. Aruna.
Okay,
But,
okay.
but before you get into the training and all, first explore a little bit more. You know, safe, right? And then you figure out whether it really makes sense for you to take such roles. Where decide whether it's going to make sense for you to invest, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll explore that. I just thought of asking like if there is any particular thing.
If you want to really talk to people who do some trainings, we'll get maybe somebody who is your sales contact. Arpan?
Ankita,
maybe, yeah. Now, if you really want to talk, so I don't do RT, but the guy who is doing such trainings can maybe talk more about it than me. So you can maybe see if you can get 5 minutes from them to figure at least understand what do they really cover in that, and then see if it makes sense, right? Yeah.
Sir, yeah. Before closing, just I wanted to share with you, sir.
Yeah.
So recently I got TCS offer. So means wherever I'm currently working, so whatever I'm getting there, so I got 90% hike. So first interview itself I selected.
Oh,
so
man.
thanks for your training.
Thank you. See, I'm gonna record all this.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
This becomes a perfect marketing material for me. Okay.
maybe we can have it with Pushparaj also.
Yeah.
So you have been selected as a Pushparaj, can
Yes,
okay,
Scrum
great.
project manager.
From project manager.
Okay, great.
Great. Congratulations.
Congrats, Pushparaj.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm currently period. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great.
Even this notice period is really bothering me. Sometimes they call saying we need immediately joining person.
Yeah.
These days I hear a lot on that.
Yeah.
So if they say no, we can't join immediately, then they don't even take it further.
But if people are resigning from their company, they would say 3 months. Okay.
Correct.
But jokes apart, on the other side, right? I think like somebody was trying to say, there on the other side, from the company point of view, there are people on the day of the joining. Subah bhi bolega, I'm coming now in next 1 year and 1 hour, and then they will never turn up.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's a different challenge. I don't know. Anyway, Pushparaj, thanks for that sharing. And maybe we'll have another session where you can share your experience of what happened. Okay, like we did with Ajaz today. Okay, thanks, guys.
Actually, I liked your way of attempting the interview questions and all.
Thank you.
We may have a lot to learn from you. The way you are phrasing the sentences, the way you are bringing things in place. It's like a life practical experience sort of thing.
Aruna, I would like to share just one thing, sir. Okay? I think I have it open. I just want to tell you how structured Ajaz is. Okay, at least I am definitely not that structured. When I got this attachment from him with interview questions, I was shocked. Okay, this guy, man, I don't do such things, but it definitely helps, right? I'm gonna share it. Maybe we'll get to know about these questions in a different.
Really, his experience, I feel, really will help a lot of us to get through.
Yeah. So he sent this. You guys see my screen?
Yeah. So well.
He made all the questions. After every interview, he made a question on what he did answer, whatever. We go through all these questions. Prepare for these questions. I'll guarantee you will be able to.
Yeah, this is what question. Actually, most of the questions
90% of the interviews.
Hi, Narsima. Can you share these documents?
Yes. It's going to be shared, okay, with your group, all the group members. But anyway, this will be added to all the other questions we all have. There are a lot of questions that we are collating, and we'll add this also. But I've just, if you really go in the structured fashion, you're learning from every interview and getting better. That's Agile for you, basically. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, this forum looks to be too useful for people who are really looking for the jobs, sharing their experience, practical experience. Good. And the way you're organizing it is really awesome.
Thanks, sir. And that's a good feedback from me. Rather than me talking generally every time, batao Scrum ka question puchunga and answer. I think this makes more sense than me talking, people sharing their real experience on what's happening on the ground. Right? So we'll do this. So maybe every other week or whenever we get, and we keep getting messages from people saying, yeah, I got this and thank you, blah, blah, blah. So we'll try to get some of them share their experience.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, really
Okay.
helpful for people who
And
have.
we would like to hear from one of you whenever you get that offer sometime soon. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Waiting for it, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Sir, in which group this will be shared? Actually, I was in my group. Am I is you mail this or is you drop something in this document?
Maybe it will be. Shruti, are you part of Agile Masters, right? You're part of Agile Masters group, right?
I am a part of a CSM.
Correct. So, you just ping in your group, ma'am. I'll get, or you can ask. Narasimha mentioned there is a blog with interview questions. So can you please share that in your
Sir,
WhatsApp
your voice
group?
is not audible. Yes,
No,
sir.
in your WhatsApp
Sir,
group,
okay.
please mention that somebody from StarAgile will share that blog with you. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Still not
Thank
getting
you.
it, ma'am. Ping me, okay? I'll make sure somebody answers, but I'm sure somebody will share that link whenever you ask that, okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Thanks,
Thank you,
Ajay.
everyone. All
Thanks,
the
guys.
best.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Neha.
Is that okay? For like
Yeah,
5
yeah.
minutes. Great.
Yeah, you
great.
wanna call?
Yeah, yeah. So
Neha.
yeah. So I just want to quickly run through my background. So I have 10 years of experience as an interior designer. So in the construction industry, management in the construction field. Then during the pandemic, I changed my field to IT and I started teaching coding. So I teach coding to children and I teach block coding, underlay JavaScript. And I came across this course and few of my friends also said that you should do it. And I really enjoyed and I really look forward towards progressing in this direction. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't ask any questions or anything, because I was just being an observer and listening to what people have to say, because they've already crossed, they've taken interviews and all. I have not gone to that level as yet. And so I also spoke to a few of my friends who live in Canada and who are well settled there. So what they were like is that, you do case studies because you need to show some work that you have done. So just do some case study, do some volunteering, do something so that you can talk about your work experience. So yeah, so I just wanted to get an overview from you. Like, now that I have shared my past experience, my work experience, what do you think?
So what are the kind of jobs you're looking for when you move to Canada? You're trying to...
I'm looking for Scrum Master kind of roles only, more on management role.
I think, yeah, I would probably start with what your friend said, right? I mean, you got to really find a way to show that you have done this. And you just now told me that you are teaching people coding. I don't know who you are teaching, but is it possible to really try and use Scrum with that group?
So I teach on one-on-one, and they are like kids from 6 to 8 years of age. Really small.
So yeah, I am just, so you have to find a way to look at, and case studies part, Neha, in fact, well, I'm supposed to call Ramya hopefully sometime soon, but we're trying to get some case studies created for people with no experience at all on Scrum, and they're like, look, I have no way to get the experience, man, because I'm not in any company working. So at least we want to give them these case studies to kind of think through what kind of situations can occur, so that they'll be in a better position to relate. So whenever those case studies are ready, we can definitely share with all of you. But otherwise, for now, I think I'm going to go with your friend's advice. How do you really show, bring that experience? I don't know whether you can work with some startups or whether...
So she said, you just select a topic and you work on the topic, and then I will, you can put my name that you have worked with me, and at least you can say you've got a Canadian experience. But she has asked me to select some industry. So what they say is that in Canada, banking is a good sector, but I said I don't know anything about finance. So banking is something I'm not looking at all. Maybe something to do with tech, because for 2 years I've been teaching, so I understand their language, understand how, they think. So at least when they talk about APIs and something to do with the variables and loops, I can at least say, yes, I know, I understand what you're saying.
Now, how about actually looking at how can you apply Scrum in your field, interior design? I don't know whether I'm not saying you go and do it, but can you think about creating some case study on what can you actually do in interior designing field using Scrum? that could
Yeah,
work
so
differently.
when I was working as an interior designer, my job was somewhat revolved like a Scrum Master only.
Okay.
So I did a project for Tata Motors, and my job role was something like that. So I had a product owner who was part of Tata Motors, and so this is something I'm totally familiar with. It's not something totally new.
No, but how do you see now? Why don't you think about it and say, look, how do you present this and say, look, I definitely used it, but I never using the terms at that time. But when I attended the training and I'm teaching kids and I realized I'm talking to my techie friends, I realized they actually do this. And that's why, and I thought I can definitely play that role, because Scrum Master is about working with people. I was working with people in interior designing industry, and I believe I can do the same thing for people in technology world as well. Right? So how do you really, I mean, I'm sure when you think about it, you'll be able to put it in a better way. So you can present that experience, which will help you to help give the confidence to the interviewer that she can definitely relate to that role better, right?
Right.
So
interior designing,
I can add one input.
Good, sir. Good, Ajay.
Even one, maybe ICSM batch, or I don't know how they got my number, but even she was a teacher. And you can say in government school, right? Now she has switched over to Scrum Master. So this is one of the instance. Another instance, right? During this, even when I right, there's one Agile coach. She's also from I think some other country. So how she has done, right? She has started using Scrum at their home, and then she gave this case study while giving the interview. So like you are saying you have teachers or you have students, right? So you can just try small things, right? Scrum reviews, you can do it. You may not be able to say, okay, this is the term, but the way they have tried to implement to their real time. And then when that case study or interview happened, right? They said we have already used this. So it irrespective of manufacturing or chemical or civil or your education, right? This Scrum can be used everywhere. So this Agile is, you can say, spread across. So instead of doing any case study, right, whatever you are currently doing it, right, you can just try to implement one things, right? You can try to meet one-on-one with the kids, or you can have group session. So you can just try to implement those things, and then you same case study, you can present it wherever you want, irrespective of any industry. It's I don't think Scrum Master be in that role. It's just my one of the.
Ajay, thanks for the input. But Ajay, can I need a favor? Can you please help connect me with the teacher and the Agile coach you talked about? I really have to work on this. I don't do a good job of getting these stories out. I think we need to really do that to help, because I do trainings honestly, and then after that, we're not doing a good job of getting these guys help each other out. Hopefully we'll get better there. So if you are in touch with them, can you please share the contact with me? Ajay?
Yeah, the teacher is from India, so that I have, and other person, right, whatever I said, she's Agile coach and she's different country. So I just saw into the YouTube, then I just did some more debug, right? Then she explained it.
Can you share the teacher contact?
Yeah, I'll
all this. See, I think a lot of times when people have done that and they share their story, it makes more sense than some random teacher saying it can use anywhere. It can be used anywhere.
Correct.
Right? Yeah, I think we'll work on that, sir. So please share that contact whenever you can, Ajay.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Neha, anything else, Neha?
No. Thanks a lot.